Nice. Romantic. But got us thinking. What are the do's and don'ts of asking, will you marry me? Tanya Ailey is from My Proposal, a company which helps people make the moment as special as possible. Tanya, hello.
Hello, Trevor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. Look, it sounds like Steve Smith did the right thing. Is that a reasonably romantic thing to do with the Empire State Building in the background?
Yeah, I think it is. He dropped down on one knee on Rockefeller Center observation deck in New York, so I'd say that's quite romantic. It also featured in that iconic scene in Sleepless in Seattle, so I bet part of me thinks he got some inspiration from that as well.
Yeah, you reckon at some stage that Steve and his fiancée might have sat down and, watched that film? Got a bit of Tom Hanks and, Meg Ryan moment. Yeah, okay.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, taste is, of course, individual, but understanding your partner is fundamental to all this. What are the do's and don'ts from your perspective?
Well, everyone's different. There's do's and don'ts. I would say in terms of what to do, if you were the more traditional kind of couple, I'd recommend definitely asking her parents. It's nice to get them involved and to keep that tradition alive as well. And often the partner does appreciate that you've asked them and you've seeked their acceptance as well.
What do you do if the parents say no, though?
Well, actually, we did have one couple whose parents weren't too happy with their upcoming nuptials, and they did say that they weren't too happy with it. And you know what? The couple went ahead with it anyway, so they're happy. That's all that matters. So.
All right. And other fundamentals? I mean, I like that. I like the traditional approach, but what other tips do you give? Because this is what you do. You help people make that moment special. So what kind of advice do you give?
Yeah, so we also like to have a think about what your partner is like. Are they more of the public kind of person where they want the grand public gesture? Are they more private? You've got to really tailor it to what they want and what they would like. And I guess another one would be probably more of a modern take on it is that photographers can always be a handy thing to keep, get the...
Capture the moment.
Capture the moment, exactly.
Yeah. But don't you think the prospective other half might sort of suspect that when there's a paparazzi chasing them with cameras going off everywhere? Hang on, what's going on here?
No, they never notice. Actually, they're so involved in the moment that they don't even notice that a few metres away there might be a photographer. But in saying that, our photographers often actually hide. So you find that they'll be behind a tree or something along those lines, won't be too visible.
Yeah. What are some of the more creative ideas that you've heard of or that you've witnessed?
Yeah, so I guess there's a few. We've had things like a couple who met in Sydney and he brought her back to Sydney and we organised a sort of amazing race-style treasure hunt throughout the city of iconic places that meant a lot to them. Mm. And we sent her on a treasure hunt. She had a guide with her so she didn't get lost, and he was waiting at the end, which was quite sweet. Wow.
What was the premise, though, to send her on the treasure hunt?
Well, actually, they were staying at a hotel in the city, and he left pretending he needed to go downstairs to fix the bill, and instead of him coming back up, we had the concierge go back up to the room, and they handed her a letter from him saying, please meet your chauffeur downstairs, you're going on a treasure hunt. So, yeah.
That's really romantic, isn't it? It's a lovely idea.
Yeah, it was quite fun. We've had different types of things, vivid light installations that we've made separately for our clients to back off on that vivid festival we have in Sydney here.
Yeah.
And a few other bits and pieces that we've done as well, which can get quite creative, especially if the gentleman or the female has their own ideas as well that means a lot to them. We can get quite creative that way too.
Sure. And Tanya, are people getting more extravagant, do you think, with their proposals?
Yeah, I would say, well, I don't know about more extravagant, but I guess the guys have the confidence now to do things that are a bit more elaborate, whereas before services existed that helped them, I guess that they would have an idea and then put it in the too hard basket if it was too hard and do something a bit more simple. Now they've got the means to help them. They've got people that will assist them with thinking of the little things they might not have thought about, and now they can go a bit more extravagant. But I guess also with things like, sharing with family and friends on social media as well. Everyone does want to impress a bit more now.
Yeah. I love the suggestion that, well, now that there's services like ours, buffhead blokes like me who wouldn't have the foggiest idea of what to do can actually point them in the right direction. Thanks a lot for that. Now, I understand that you've been to the Great Wall of China. Was that for a proposal?
Yes, we actually had a couple who were travelling in China, and he decided he'd like to pop the question there, that he wanted to do it in a very unique way. So we had the contacts there to help us to orchestrate a plan, have a private tour of the Great Wall of China, get all the necessary approvals from the government to be able to do something like that on their monuments, obviously. And, we organised a private picnic for them.
Wow.
Them on a section of the Great Wall, yeah.
Gee. So I'm just wondering, though, big gestures might not always be best, particularly if the prospective bride says no. Any examples on that front?
Well, firstly, let me just point out we haven't actually had anyone who's said no, but I would say that it doesn't have to be big gestures. It doesn't have to be. Your partner might not want the big gesture either. They might be more private, as I mentioned earlier. So it doesn't need to be something big. It can be a bit more intimate, just the two of you, private dining experiences, things like that can come into it where it's just the two of you and it's not a big public spectacle. It doesn't have to be.
Sweet. Very nice. All right, Tanya. And do you think it's people are as romantic as they ever were? Is it becoming more romantic, or is it just about the creativity now when it comes to the proposal, the big question?
Yeah, no, I think people are just as romantic as they were. The guys do strive to do a little better now, I think. But, in saying that, there's no good or bad when it comes to a proposal. You're asking the love of your life to marry you, so that's what's the most important.
Tanya LA from My Proposal, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.